to have you on this episode of Heirs Holdings Meet the CEO. We have quite a number of questions to ask you today. Hope you'd be willing to provide all the answers, no matter the question.
You're welcome. I mean, today is my time to open up about myself.
Great.
And looking forward to your questions.
All right, awesome. So first off, there's this one question that's been on my mind all morning.
Yeah?
What was your first job like?
That's a long time ago. But I was straight out of NYSC, and I was hired to work in corporate and investment banking with one of the new generation banks of that time, Crystal Bank.
Interesting.
So, I mean, I read law.
You read law?
How does a lawyer become a credit officer overnight? With all the number crunching, the credit analysis, analyzing financial statements.
Wow.
And the team I was in had another member who was, more experienced than I was.
Mm-hmm.
That somehow, made things a bit hard. I used to go cry in the toilet. In the beginning, I felt that maybe he didn't want to share his knowledge with me.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed to me like I wasn't picking up fast enough. Well, it looked to him like I wasn't picking up fast enough, even though he was trying to teach me. So it was a very painful period that lasted for about a year till I got my bearings.
Okay, so you were still in the same company and then you got it together.
Oh yes. It helped that it was transferred to Port Harcourt.
That is it.
No, I shouldn't sound joyful about that, even though it's almost 20 years ago. But he was transferred to Port Harcourt to relieve some other manager.
Oh, okay.
And what happened in his absence was that I then had room to discover myself.
Mm-hmm.
I had room to engage with other people doing similar roles in other teams. And by the time he came back, I was this self-assured, confident, knowledgeable young woman who could not be treated the old way. So, I mean, yeah, that was good.
So you did
and
not
after that,
have
we
to cry.
actually got on really well.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Once he saw that, okay, she's actually smart and she can deliver the goods. Okay. So he took a step back, looked at me with a different kind of eye, and then, that was it.
Wow, great. That's all I'm ready for you.
I think it helped that my first year was so tough because it toughened me up very quickly. What also helped was that I think I'd always believed that I could be anything I wanted to be. I could achieve anything I set my mind to achieve. And I have the fortune of also having worked with extremely demanding people from the onset.
Okay.
So this team lead that I had was, as you can imagine, extremely demanding. My group head then was also an extremely demanding boss. So I think I was very fortunate because I worked with people who didn't cut you much slack or almost none at all.
Wow.
So that really toughened me up. And because they were so demanding and the expectations so high, the bar was always higher than I could reach. So I just kept reaching and then, set it up a bit higher and then I'd reach it and then, so I think that really, really helped to set me up on the right footing. I was also fortunate enough in the beginning to have the CEO of the bank at that time also made some comments on some analysis that I had done, which honestly I can't forget till this day.
Were they
because they were very good. They gave me strength. I didn't know I had those things he put on the paper. I remember he said something like, "Oh, this is a very analytical mind. This mind is thought." He said some things that till today people kind of used to describe me. So because I've had it said to me very earlier on, I then began to hone those skills or those attributes that he referred to. And by then he hadn't met me one-on-one. He just knew I was some new hire in a corner somewhere, So yeah, I think those helped me to climb up the corporate ladder, just having that attitude, from very early on.
So did you ever think you would become the CEO?
I think I started to think about it probably about 8 years ago.
8 years ago?
Yeah.
So earlier on you just said, I'm just going to go on my career and let's
that's
see where it
it.
takes me.
Yes.
Okay.
I probably started to think about it seriously maybe 8 years ago.
And then you started working towards this as well?
Did I really? Yes, I think so. I think I took decisions that would end up contributing to my ability to be a good CEO.
Okay.
So I set out to learn as much as I could about leadership.
Okay.
I learned as much as I could also about strategy.
Okay.
And it helped as well that I'd worked in various other functions. I mean, originally I trained as a lawyer.
I can't
And then ended up working in financial services. I was a
Wow.
credit officer crunching numbers. I was relationship manager. After a while, I moved into corporate affairs, corporate relations, then went into proper marketing, the way FMCG does marketing, which means brand management, product manager, all those kinds of roles. And then I've also been financial and legal at some point, manager of commercial and legal department of an oil and gas service company. So I think it helped that I worked across many functions. I just felt it was a natural progression. By 8 years ago, I'd done almost all these roles I described to you.
Wow.
So I thought, okay, so the next thing is just to become the CEO, since you've had a taste of all the key functions that make a company run well. So yeah, then I set my sights on that.
At what point in your career did you know that this is what you want to do, this is what you want to settle for? Why didn't you maybe go for a completely different sector, settle there and become a CEO? How did you know that it was this healthcare you want to be in this sector?
I can't actually say I made a decision that it was going to be healthcare.
Okay.
I've worked across quite a number of sectors, and I've always believed that my skills are transferable. No matter what sector you take me to, I know where my strengths lie. My strengths lie in growing businesses, in generating revenue, in building relationships, in opening up new opportunities, for growth. And I think if you can do that in one sector, you can probably do it in any sector. And coming to healthcare, though, was fortuitous. It wasn't a deliberate plan on my part. I'd been in management consulting for a number of years, and I thought I would like to go back into formal paid employment.
Wow.
And the first very interesting offer I got was from healthcare, and that was exciting. It also seems that I've made a career out of joining startups at the initial stage, or coming into a company when it's just been taken over by new ownership and they're trying to turn it around. So that happened with healthcare. I joined a health insurance company at a time when a private equity firm had just acquired majority shareholder in it. So I was part of that executive team that was put together to institutionalize, best practices and transform the company. So I did consciously choose healthcare, but it worked out great. I think actually I've birthed. This ship has birthed. It's not going anywhere anymore.
So you're here to stay.
That's it.
All right, awesome. So what would you say is the high point in your career so far? Aside crying in the bathroom, those points that we know. Yeah. What would you say is the high point in your career?
Honestly, I think it's when this company broke even, which would be last year. So this actually is the high point in my career because it's so fulfilling. And in the sector like healthcare, where you can actually see the good you're doing, and actually see people's life being impacted and things changing, and you're setting new standards and you're affecting the entire industry. It's a phenomenal opportunity. Phenomenal.
That's great. So you have the light in your eyes talking about this. How do you balance work and family time?
Wow.
How do you not reply mails?
I think that, there are two things to the balancing. One is that in the face of one's life, in the journey of one's life as a woman, there are times when one will take priority over the other. And I think as women, we've got to cut ourselves some slack and just come to that acceptance that there are going to be times in your journey as a woman, as a wife, and as a mother, when your family should and will come first and take priority. And then, don't set such ambitious career goals for yourself in those phases. Don't try and be the same as the male colleagues in your office, because you can't. You will burn out. One area of your life will really suffer for it, and then you lose out on almost all the areas. So there's first that balancing that I try and do, which has to do with what age my children are at and what are the kind of demands on me on the home front, and I balance that out with how much an appetite I have for work and for career advancement. So it's a constant balancing act, because no matter what part of that journey, what phase of that journey you're at, you're thinking, am I doing enough on either side? But I'm lucky that I've been blessed to have been able to take breaks away from my career at certain times when my children were younger.
Okay.
So now that they're older, they don't need me as much, you know. And in these days, the way technology has made the ability to communicate with everybody from everywhere also makes it a lot easier to balance it. And no matter where you're at or who you're with, so far you give them all your attention, and you know the time you spend is quality time, then I think at the end of the day everything kind of works out.
Yes, it does.
Believe in yourself and know that you have no limitations. Honestly,
No limits. Great.
there are no limits to what you can achieve and who you can be. You decide and then go for it. That's it.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
everything you've
You're welcome.
talked about.
It's actually been fun. Unusual for me to have this kind of morning, honestly. So thank you. I'm fine. Lifting, technique, or what's the first one? PG tips.
PJ tips. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they're all in the same category.
Really
They're just
effective.
affordable. You find them everywhere. I don't
Okay.
have to go to a gourmet shop to buy my tea. You know, any big yard or any corner shop will have what I need. And every day as I get into the office, I start with tea. Actually, when I wake up at home, I start with tea.
You take tea before you go for mass. Wow.
Yeah. So I do the first cup just about the time I get up. It gives me the energy to face the day.
Maybe I'll try that.
And then I get to the office and there are numerous cups from the minute I get to the office till about lunchtime. And then I try not to take tea after lunch. I just try and take water.
Okay.
But when I get home at night before I sleep, it's odd because it's supposed to have caffeine in it, but it doesn't seem to stop me from sleeping. I sleep exhausted every night. So.